Oh, geez, Doc, are you a serial killer?
I guess you'll never really know, Molly.
I just want to kill you both.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Horror Show. I'm Cecil Laird.
I'm Susie von Slaughter.
I'm Jaime Fuego.
Here to fulfill a Patreon request to the amazing Teddy Brown. Thank you very much for requesting this one.
I know.
Straight up, thank you for requesting this one because let me explain how things work here on the channel. Truly, Fuego watched this movie a couple of years ago. Fuego watched this movie a couple of years ago when it came out, and he said it was really good. I did not watch it. Finally, we get a Patreon request for it. I watch it, and it's really good.
Yep.
So that's how it goes. We
Not
don't listen to Fuego.
Good.
Yeah,
really good.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, see, this is
really,
what happens,
actually
Jaime.
good.
Yes, it was really good. No, because I watched it before Cecil watched it, and again, I was in my little group
True.
chat, and I was like, "This is so great!"
Yeah, because she had actually watched it, and they were going to review it, I think last week or the week before.
And I was like, I wanted to watch it.
He wanted to rewatch it, and so they didn't, and I was almost going to have Susie do it.
I just like it more fun to have the banter between them.
No, I agree. And I'm glad you did because it finally, it had dropped off of one streaming service, and then a few days later it popped up on Hulu. And so I was like, oh, it's on Hulu now. So I watched it, and yes, Susie said it was really good, but she didn't say why I should watch it, which I'm glad she didn't, because the end, which I don't think we should spoil, but the end reveal was right up my alley, and I absolutely loved this movie as a result. Honestly, this movie is very in line with a lot of movies that came out in the past year. Summer of '84, Clove Hitch Killer.
Yes.
There's something up with a neighbor, you believe it, no one else can figure it out, and it's about this one kid trying to figure this out. And this is really big now. This movie was actually ahead of that curve.
2016.
2016, yeah.
It was so, oh my god, it blew my mind. You think one thing, and then it just, M. Night Shyamalan and ding dongs your butt, and just...
Right in your face.
Very much
I was
so.
like, what? This is amazing.
So yeah, our overall thoughts I think are pretty clear.
Yeah.
I mean, I loved it. Susie said she loved it. Fuego, upon rewatch?
Oh, I loved it even more.
Yeah?
Upon rewatch. I was reminded I wouldn't shut up about it after I first watched it, because we did a trailer reaction to it, and it just was one of those that got lost in the shuffle with most of us,
Well, it's because you recommended it.
Yeah, and that's probably why. And also from the trailer, it is a slow burn in a lot of ways, but it takes a very different approach, especially to the character and their motivation and what they're struggling with, I guess, which is where I'm really pumped to jump back into the storytelling here in a moment, because the story and the way they approach this character's angle I thought was great.
Yeah.
You know, typically I'm not the slow burns, kind of like, but I don't know if it's supposed to be a slow burn, but I didn't feel that it was. Like, I was super
I was engrossed,
into it.
yeah.
I was super into it the whole time.
See, here's the thing. It was a slow burn, but it didn't feel
that
like
way.
a slow burn.
Yeah.
Like, I could tell, like, oh, this is taking its time. It's being methodical, but I'm on board the whole way.
Yeah.
Well, it's not too long of a movie. It's around 100 minutes as opposed to your average slow burn, which is
40,
over 2 hours, you know? And so this, it is slow, and everything's covered in snow in this town. It's a winter setting and everything, but the tone that the main actor sets, especially, I want to say his name is like Max Records or something like that. That's his real life name, right?
Yeah, because he's the boy in Where the Wild Things Are.
Oh,
yes.
cool.
Susie recognized that right
and
away.
I own that movie. So
I was like, why did that little boy look so familiar? With long hair.
Longer hair. And he's apparently struggling with urges to kill people, which, to jump into the story, is what I find so fun about this. Is he's even seeing a therapist, and yet he's not
being
really
very blunt about it too. Like, that was
even
refreshing.
Even
very
with his mom
first
and his aunt
conversation,
and stuff. And he's working in a mortuary with his aunt and his mother, and he's cutting up corpses and stuff. So they're like, with a kid who has these sort of urges to be working in a setting like that.
You think you'd send him to McDonald's instead.
Yeah, cut him open and being anatomically correct with everything.
By that, counting organs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because basically part of the story is that bodies start showing up. I mean, people are dying in the town. No one can identify. There is a serial killer supposedly on the loose, but the thing is that only this family knows, and the police, is that organs are missing. Yeah. And it's not the same organ every time.
It's parts.
Parts. Oh yeah, you're right. Parts.
It's not organs. It's just organs.
Well, it starts off organs, and then it's.
Oh yeah, so initially they think that people are being killed. They're selling their organs on the black market, but then when it becomes parts, they are confused because they're like, this doesn't fit any type.
The MO's changing.
For a serial killer, so they were even more so like.
And the kid is as perceptive, if not more so, because of the fact that he's obsessed with serial killers. He's gotten in trouble at school for writing research papers about like bind Tim Kill. What was the guy from the? He was a serial killer from a few years ago. It was the main something kill, bind something kill.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't remember.
BTK, be something.
Oh, the beats. Yeah, okay, the BTK killer. I've heard of that. Yeah,
bind something, bind torture kill, something like that. Anyway, he does a story about him. The previous year did a story about Dahmer and how he had like human severed heads in his freezer and so on and so forth. So besides having these urges, he's also obsessed and reading about serial killers constantly. But what all that knowledge does is helps him to be even a step ahead of the law enforcement about being able to track this person and who they may in fact be. And it just might be a neighbor, but it might not. The neighbor could just be a weirdo, and it does stick to that gray area for a decent chunk. You get some confirmation, not super late like in like summer of '84,
right?
But it's still, this predated that, and by even more so there's this whole fascination with true crime and with profiling, and everyone's all abuzz about the Ted Bundy tapes on Netflix right now and all this other stuff. So this was ahead of the curve. This was when that little interest was starting to get growing, and now it's going nuts. So I think people will, especially with it on Hulu, maybe more will discover it now, and it'll gain some additional popularity because I think it's deserving. So.
No, I agree. I mean, we're already talking about the acting. The kid was great.
The kid's performance makes it. He's so good.
Everyone in it is pretty spot on. Kristopher Lloyd especially, and because he has to play different sort of aspects at times, and it's very interesting to see, again, without spoiling anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's an older man living in this town, and this kid has basically selected him as the possible killer, and it's a lot of staking out and stuff like that at times, but it's really interesting to watch unfold. So
no, what's crazy is the way he finds out.
Yeah, that's true. Well, the way he finds out, the confirmation one way or another. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's so awesome. It's so great.
And it all leads at that point up to a really cool finale reveal that's really cool finale. It puts the entire light of everything in a different fashion.
Another M. Night Shyamalan ding dong.
Yeah. And honestly, I loved both halves when it goes, because it does kind of flip the script at that particular point, and I loved both approaches. I felt like the fact that we had that duality enhanced the movie significantly and just made it even better. So.
I agree. Something like that would normally piss me off. But I was all about it.
Here it was handled well.
Seriously, something like that. I would be like, that doesn't even make sense. But I was all about it. I was like, holy shit, it fit really, really well. So.
It was well crafted, very well crafted.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about the cinematography, because it was
well crafted.
Very well crafted, very deliberate.
Very well done.
Awesome reveals when need be, and then.
I really loved how raw it was.
Yeah, it did feel really raw.
It was awesome.
And
it felt like 90s indie almost.
Yeah.
It did
a lot of ways, something.
Yeah, so at first I was kind of like,
in the 90s.
That's true. It does feel a little bit like a 90s Miramax, but in a good way.
Yeah, and also and non-Weinstein.
Yeah, without Weinstein. Yeah.
No, but in that visual approach, though, and also in just the sensibilities of the fact that it's a serious situation, but there was a decent injection of humor, and there was just kind of a snide sarcasm to the main character.
Yes.
But just him roaming around these snow-covered, desolate landscapes of this small, suburban, like borderline rural town, where they're dealing with this situation, and you can tell they're pretty isolated, and they don't have a lot of answers, and
it's a very Fargo-esque sort of town.
Yeah, and also when when you're at the mortuary and they're cutting up bodies, it's pretty gross looking at times. It legitimately succeeds in that department.
That's a good segue into the effects.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of practical body effects and stuff like that, and entrails and things like that. So it's really interesting, very well done, all practical. And then to perhaps whet your interest a little bit, there is a bit of digital effects, which I thought were a little lackluster.
A little bit.
But when you get to it, you're like, whoa, okay, that's kind of out of nowhere, but really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a bit of digital too, but overall, a lot of really cool practical effects in this movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Any other thoughts on it, you guys?
I have to mention the music because it's this creepy, slow plotting, like almost
yes!
ambient organ
Oh
type
my god,
stuff,
I Shazamed
like
it.
Church
yeah,
music and
I
stuff,
did. I tried to see. I can't remember if something came up or not.
Well,
but,
and the opening song is like kind of an indie rock like kind of song, but with a weird melancholy to it, which I really dug. I mean, I thought the score throughout was very effective at building tension and just really doubling down on that weird, just eerie vibe that you really get, especially in the back half of the film, once the investigation revs into higher gears. He's getting more clues and stuff like that. And there is I mean, if you're hanging out in a mortuary, and there's also scenes that are spent at a funeral home, like actual, like there's a funeral in the movie, for God's sake, where he's handing out, little photoshopped stuff, and that was that is one of the best scenes where he comes and sits down next to him in the pew in the back. That scene is so good.
That scene is actually, if I can liken it to something, it's almost on par with the Spider-Man Homecoming Spider-Man and Vulture in the car scene.
I have no idea what they're talking about.
That's okay, but the people that know that scene will know how effective it was.
It was so intense. I loved it. And I love, something else that, like I've said before, that I have been watching a lot of these killer shows and whatever, and I did see
girls love serial killers.
I can't help it. So I did see this part where they did I remember telling you this, they did a scan of the brain, and they saw the same abnormality in every brain of a psychopath.
Yeah.
So and so they're starting to see it in kids, and what I thought was actually kind of cool about it is, yes, this kid is aware that he has these urges, and I almost feel like it's not so much so of a fascination that he's reading about these people, but it's like it's almost something he can relate to. Now, I'm not condoning this behavior, but you know what I mean. To like, he recognizes his triggers, and he even has rules, which I thought was
I'm gonna
really
smile and say something nice instead of
I really
that shows
appreciated
how smart he was, though, and the fact that he was cognizant about just those
right,
feelings
and so that's
and
what I'm saying.
impulses.
So I feel that I don't think it was so much like serial killers. It was just like he's identifying
that's why he's drawn
what these
to them and
triggers.
Fascinated by them too.
Right. Yeah. So it's like he relates to it, and so
this is a
I don't know.
layered
I love
movie.
this movie.
This is
yes,
a
I loved it
movie.
so much.
I
Go watch it.
Really enjoyed it.
Sorry.
My butt.
No, it was your phone. Thank goodness.
Both of us keep
Everybody keeps touching my butt.
Yeah, well, what can I say? You're standing half a foot in front of us to try and make up for.
I'll take a step
But
back.
anyway,
my butt has its own zip code.
But yeah, thank you guys very much for watching. If you have seen this movie, drop a like. But
Please.
Comment down below on what you thought of it. If you haven't seen it, let us know if you're going to go and watch it. And if you do, come back and tell us in the comments what you thought of it, because I want to talk to some people about this. I want to know their thoughts. Keep it spoiler free if you can for at least a little while people watch this.
The spoilers are really fun. In this
yeah, the
movie.
spoilers are really worth it. So don't mention the spoilers, but just say what you thought of the spoilers. You know what I mean? So you understand. So thank you guys very much for watching. Until next time, I've been Cecil Laird.
I'm Susie Von Slaughter.
I've been Jaime Fuego.
Thank you again to Teddy Brown, our patron, for suggesting this. If you want to become a patron, click the link in the description box and you can suggest a movie too.
Since when did we hire Kristopher Lloyd?
I don't know, but I'm glad we did.
I've been here the whole time.
All right. That's it. Thanks very much, guys. And remember, stay strong.